Hello, 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 hello. How y'all doing today? I hope everyone's having a great Friday. So tonight, our topic is going to be good. We're going to learn some valuable things. Grab your pen, grab your paper, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive on in. Hi, my name is Dale. I want to thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. And I hope you enjoy what it is we're talking about tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about dealing with family drama after a loved one has passed. So, I've dealt with family drama after my loved one passed. I'm sure you have too. I'm going to give you some tips on how you can handle the family drama just a little more better. Okay? So my first tip is to acknowledge the emotional weight. You are going through something. So are your siblings. So are your aunts, your uncles, your grandmother, whoever it is that's left to deal with the loss of your loved one. The emotional weight of losing someone can be very heavy. It can be very heavy, depending on sometimes how close this person was to you or how close they were to other members of the family. So, everyone's emotions are going to be hyped. They're going to be high. They're going to be tender. Okay? Remember that. Try to keep that in mind before you say something or before you do something that will be hurtful to your family members. Allow yourself and others to express their concerns and feelings. Allow yourself and others to express their concerns and feelings. If you are concerned about the way something is being handled, you should be allowed to express that. If someone else feels a certain way about the way something is being handled, they should be allowed to express that. It should be a conversation. It shouldn't be an argument. It shouldn't be screaming. It shouldn't be yelling. It should be a conversation. Try not to take things you don't agree with personally, okay? Try not to allow things to push you in your feelings and take it personally. Because sometimes it's not personal. Sometimes it is, but the majority of the time, it is not personal. It's just someone expressing how they feel, what they think. We're all different, thank God. We are. And we all express ourselves different. We all have different thoughts. We all have different beliefs. So don't take anything personally. View this time as a time to get close to your family. View this time of loss as a time to love your family. Because no one is promised tomorrow. None of us are promised to wake up tomorrow. So when a death occurs, when someone passes away, view that as a time for your family to come close. But don't let that be the only thing that brings your family together. Some common sources of conflict after a loved one passed is disagreements over inheritance or estates. I see it all so often where something is left to just one child and the other four are like, what the? It happens. Okay? Sometimes people don't get the opportunity to do their will the way they want it to, or they don't update their will as their life progresses and moves on. How you handle that sometimes depend on how close you and your family are. I'm going to use myself for example. My mom passed away. She had a policy. My sister was the beneficiary, and my sister felt Mom would have wanted her to split that with all of us. Did she have to do that? No, she did not. She could have said, Mama left this to me and to the rest of y'all. But she didn't. She split it between the 5 of us. Okay? With herself included, it's 5 of us. So, most of the time, when a loved one passed, you have conflict over inheritance, over estate. We each went through and we collected what we wanted. You know, my mom's husband, he allowed us to come in, get some trinkets, get some things that we may have wanted that belonged to my mother. It was easy peasy. It went over great. No one was in conflict over anything, you know. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that we're that close, that we did not allow anything to come between us. Because we all knew my sister was my mama's favorite child. That's just me being crazy. Another thing I want you to do, you're going to have different ways of grieving. Some may want to talk while others may not want to say anything. Some people may withdraw. I withdrew. I withdraw from situations that stress me out, situations that I can't control, situations that I can't find a solution to. I find myself withdrawing. Sometimes it's just to back up and reevaluate the situation. Sometimes it's because of the hurt I feel and I don't want to say something, that is hurtful to someone. So I withdraw myself from the situation. Everyone grieves differently. Some people may cry. I know when my mom passed away, I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. I thought I had no more tears left and they still flowed. My brother, I never saw my brother cry. But my brother goes visit my mom's gravesite a lot. He makes sure she has her flowers. That is his way of grieving. He may not know it, but that is his way of grieving. Okay? Let's see. No emotion is an emotion. Okay, you guys, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I'm at work, and these people start coming when I don't need them to come. So, I want you to know that everyone grieves differently. And remember, no emotion is actually emotion. Just like they say, no reply is a reply. No emotion is an emotion. Okay? Everyone grieves differently. We don't all grieve the same. Something else that may happen is old family tensions may resurface under stress. That's why I say, do not take anything personally. Sometimes old family tensions rise up during stressful situations. Okay? Do not take that to heart. Okay? Another thing I want you to know is sometimes a loved one's passing can open up old wounds. Instead of getting upset, communicate your thoughts and feelings. Allow yourself to vent or talk to a trusted friend. Sometimes old wounds open up during loss. Allow yourself to communicate your feelings. Instead of getting angry and lashing out, talk to your family. Let them know how you feel. People can't guesstimate how you feel because they're going to guess wrong. And I'd rather sit and communicate my feelings to you. I'm sorry about that. I'd rather sit and talk and communicate my feelings to you than to not communicate them at all. So Talk to your loved ones. Don't be afraid to talk to them. Don't hold your feelings in. Don't hold that hurt in. Don't hold that pain in. Allow yourself to communicate. Clashes over decisions regarding the memorial of loved ones' wishes. Common. Very, very common. I'm show you an example. When my dad first passed away, and I know my sister gonna see this video, but hey, I'm putting it out there, okay? As an example, my dad first passed away. My oldest sister, she is my oldest sister, decided she wanted to cremate Dad. I was mad. I got upset. I got angry. Because deep in my heart, I know that's not what my father would have wanted. But was it worth the argument? He wasn't in there no more. And she did spend his last days taking care of him. He lived with her for quite a while. So, was she right to make that decision on her own and not consult with the rest of us? I would say, yeah, to me, I think it was wrong. Because we're a close-knit family. It's something that should have been communicated rather than told. Okay? Sorry, sister, if you're watching this. I love you. But communication is key. So don't feel because you cared for mom or you cared for dad or you cared for this person or that person or whoever the loved one is that passed away that you get to make all the decisions. Don't do that because everybody deserves an opinion. Everyone deserves an opportunity to express how they feel. Okay? So, after I talked to my sister, I felt better about the situation. It was just that she conveyed her message wrong. Okay? She conveyed her message wrong. And once I talked to her, we communicated, it was okay. Everything went smooth. We had dad's service, and he was cremated. And she does have him at home with her. So, communicate. Don't be the, oh, well, I did this type person, so I should be able to do this type stuff. Don't be that person. Communicate. Okay? Sometimes it's best to just let things be for the peace. Sometimes it's best to let things be for peace. To keep peace and not be arguing, fussing, or fighting. Sometimes you just gotta let it go. Everything ain't worth a fight. Everything ain't worth a battle. And it's definitely not worth losing your loved ones over. Okay? So remember that. Sometimes you gotta let the peace just be peace. Okay? So the third thing I want you to know, the importance of clear communication. Have open, honest, and calm conversations about things you disagree with or that's important to you. If I had not had that conversation with my sister about cremating Dad, if I had just lashed out and let the words fly out of my mouth that felt like flying out of my mouth, if I had called her bitter and angry and upset and screaming and hollering, we would have never had that conversation that brought us to an agreement to make that decision to cremate our father. If I had just let my emotions override my thought process, it would not have been good. So have a conversation. Don't be afraid to say, this is how I feel. If you know your loved one wanted differently, express that. It doesn't really have to be that way, but express how you feel. At least you expressed how you felt. Okay? When my grandmother passed away years ago, it's been 26 years, 25 or 26 years since my grandmother passed. And my grandmother always stated she wanted to be cremated. Always did state she wanted to be cremated. And when she passed away, she had it, written down with her last wishes that she wanted to be cremated. That was a very hard decision for my mother and her siblings to make. It was a very hard decision. Even though they all knew that's what she wanted, it's not what they wanted. But at the end, they honored what she wanted. And they did the cremation, and she's buried where she wanted to be buried, next to my grandfather, at the head of his grave. So when death occurs, when people pass away, and you're planning these things, it's not about what you want, because you're not the one that passed away. It's about what they wanted. Have a conversation. Come to an agreement. And remember who's the center of this thing. It's not you. It's not me. It's not anyone in this room. The center of this thing is the person that passed away and what they would have wanted. Okay? So keep your focus focused. Set boundaries around conversations that make you uncomfortable. But also respect other people's boundaries as well. You can't set boundaries around you and not respect other people's boundaries. That's not a fair exchange. So set boundaries around conversations that make you feel uncomfortable, and respect other people's boundaries. Sometimes you're going to have family members that they need time to process what just took place. They need time to process what just happened. So yes, they may not want to talk. Yes, they may not want to laugh at the moment. Yes, they may not find anything funny, even though you told their favorite joke. Their favorite joke at the moment may throw them into a rampage. Okay? If someone has a concern or an issue with the way things are being done or handled, listen to their concerns and address them. My sister listened to my concern about cremating my dad, and we addressed it. She told me why she wanted him there, why she wanted to cremate him, why she felt like that was the greatest decision for him, okay, and her. I love you. Most misunderstandings can be avoided through clear, concise, effective communication. No one can read your thoughts, your minds, or your emotions. Even though I'm psychic, I can't read your thoughts, your minds, or your emotions. So communicate effectively how you feel. Let people know there's nothing wrong with letting someone know how you feel. I am a very opinionated person. I'm going to speak how I feel. And what do you do as a recipient of how I feel? You don't say, well, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. No. You respect the fact that this is how I feel. You can't tell me I shouldn't feel that way because you're not me. Okay? And I'm not you. So respect how I feel. Respect how I'm thinking or what I'm thinking. Honor it. You know, I'm glad you came forward with that idea. Let's look into that. Don't try to just be Miss Macho or Mr. Macho and make all the decisions because you're the oldest or because you're the favorite or whatever the situation. Come together as a family and make those decisions with effective communication. Allocate who's going to handle what when making decisions. So allocate who's going to handle flowers. You're going to be responsible for making sure the flowers are at the funeral home. You're going to be responsible for making sure the food is ready for the repast. We're all going to be responsible for picking out the clothes. We're all going to be responsible for picking out the songs, or we're going to all be responsible for whatever. Okay? But things that you feel you can't handle or you don't want to handle, allocate to somebody else that knew your loved one. I remember when we were at the church to do my mom's service, and we were talking to the priest because my mom was Catholic. And I just could not believe what was actually going on. Some of us had to step out. I had to step out. I had to walk away because I'm sitting here planning my mom's funeral. I'm picking out songs for my mom's funeral. And that's kind of like when reality hit me that my mom was gone. I had to step away. A few of us stepped away because it just didn't seem right. It didn't feel right. And that was okay. We had someone else that was there that was able to help make things happen and go forward that we couldn't emotionally deal with. Okay? So it's okay to allocate different things to other family members. Let them be responsible for taking care of certain things. If you and your siblings inherit a home, discuss who's going to live there. Who's going to be responsible for taxes or upkeep of the home or repairs, or who's going to be responsible for renting the home or paying the mortgage or whatever may come about. Have that discussion. You don't have to have it right then and there. But after a few weeks have passed, have that discussion. Have that discussion with your siblings, with your loved ones. Have that discussion. Hold on. Hello, I'm back. So, have those discussions when it comes to your home, when it comes to anything left of value by the one that has passed away. Have those discussions on who's going to be responsible for what, who's going to inherit what, who's going to pay for what, who's going to, whatever the issue may be. Are y'all going to sell the home, or is someone going to stay in the home, or you're going to rent the home? Have those discussions. Or like I ended up with my mom's car. Her husband, after I ended up getting in an accident, gave me her car. Before I did that, I called my siblings. I talked to each and every last one of them. I say, look, this is my situation. And this is what her stepdaddy has offered. Is that okay with you guys? It was okay with all of them. I got the car. Okay? Simple phone call discussion. Unfortunately, I got into a real bad accident and my car was totaled. And he was like, hey, come get it. It's just sitting there, been sitting there for 2 years. So I had a discussion with my siblings. I could have just moseyed on down there and went and got it and not said a thing. And then word would eventually got out to him, and they'd have been like, well, she ain't called nobody and said nothing. Or I wonder what he did with my mama's car. That could also been a discussion. But it was as simple as a phone call. I had a need. No one else needed it. He offered it to me. We all agreed on it. I got the car. And I love it. Thank you, Mom. So, have those discussions. Have discussions about any property you have, any taxes that needs to be paid. Who's going to be responsible for that? We have a property. We're responsible for the taxes now. Mama's gone. Mama always kept our taxes up. Who's going to pay the taxes on this property? Are we going to chip in and do it together? Or is one person going to be responsible and we send them the money? Like, how are we doing this? Have that discussion. It doesn't have to be had immediately, but have that discussion. Okay? And I want you to do one thing for me. During all this drama, focus on the big picture at hand. Remember that the goal is to honor the loved one's wishes and memory. The goal is not about the money. The goal is not about who will get what. The goal is about making memories and cherishing them that you made with your loved one. At the end of the day, beginning of the week, that is the goal. That's all we're here for. The money, the cars, the clothes, the property, we can deal with that later. But at this moment, the discussion is what is best for your loved one. Okay? Reflect on any conflict taking place and ask yourself, is this worth damaging family relationships over? I had to ask myself that question when my sister made the decision to cremate my father. Is this worth getting so angry over that I no longer want to talk to my sister? I no longer want to deal with her. I no longer want to be in her presence. Is it worth it? Is it worth you losing your sibling? Is that what your loved one would have wanted? Or would your loved one would have wanted you to have a conversation and come up with a solution that met both of you in the middle and satisfied both of you? Think about it. How would my loved one have wanted me to handle this disagreement? What would my father have wanted me to do because I disagreed with my sister? Knowing my daddy the way I knew my daddy, he was very pleased with me compromising. He would not have wanted us to argue, fight, throw down over it. It's not what he would have wanted. My father was not that type of man. Would my mother have wanted us to argue and fight over her car? No, she would not. She used to tell us all the time, material things are just material things. I can't take them with me. So you got to sit back, step back, and ask yourself, what would my loved one have wanted us to do? How would mama handle this situation? How would daddy handle this situation? How should we handle this situation? So here's some practical tips to de-escalate drama. Sometimes it's okay to take a break or leave a discussion for another day. When emotions are running high, it's all right to take a break. But you know what, y'all? Look, let's get outside, enjoy some nature, and then we'll come back to discuss this because tempers are flying and all we doing is butting heads. Or let's save this discussion for another time. It's okay. It'll still be there tomorrow. Okay? For financial or legal matters, consult a professional. Allow each person involved to state their concerns and ensure fairness and transparency. When it comes to monies, when it comes to houses, when it comes to cars, when it comes to trusts, when it comes to anything that this person has left behind, if you cannot solve it in a fair and transparent way, then maybe get someone from a legal profession to help with it. Okay? If tempers are flying and you can't come to an agreement, seek legal advice on what could be done, how things could be handled. One of you may want to sell mom's home. One of you may want to keep it. And y'all button heads and you can't come to an agreement. One can't buy you out the house or they can't buy their share, but you want the house. Seek legal advice from a professional. Come to an agreement. If mediation is needed to make a decision, bring in someone neutral to the situation at hand to mediate. If you need a mediator, get one. Get somebody that's neutral to the situation, that's not so deep in it that they're going to be biased about their decision or about how things should go, or someone that has no gains or profit from the situation. So get you someone that's neutral to it, that don't know anything about it, and see if you can come to a common ground. Okay? Honoring different grieving styles. I was about to say stages. Styles. Every individual, like I said before, processes grief differently. Grief ebbs and flows. You have your good days, you have your bad days. You have your days when you're up high, you have your days when you're down low. You have your days when you're in the middle. Okay? And no amount of time can be set on how long someone should grieve. You can't put a time period on how long I'm going to grieve my mother, or my father, or my sister, or my grandmother. My grandmother been gone for over 20 years. 25, 26 years. I still feel the hurt of that. I still talk about my grandmother, and I tell my kids all the time, oh, y'all would have loved my mom. My mom used to get in that kitchen, baby. She used to bake them biscuits for us. And she'd give us little coffee milk, like she used to call it. It had more milk than coffee. And we'd put the syrup on there. You know that yellow syrup in that can, nice and thick. And we'd have hot biscuits and syrup before school with my mom, baby. I would sit on that porch, me and my mom, and we'd cut up them okra for her gumbo, because she had a weekly gumbo. It would be so good. You know, so nothing could put a time limit on that. No one could put a time limit on the grief. There are days when I still think about it and I cry. I shed a couple of tears. And I thank God I had that opportunity. Because not everyone gets to meet their grandparents. So be grateful for the little things, okay? And don't set a limit on your grief. Don't put no time stamp on it. Grief ebbs and flows, comes and goes. 20 years and you're still crying. It happens. Another thing I want you to do for me, self-care during conflict. Protect your mental health even during times of conflict. Even during times of disagreements, protect your mental health. Go out in nature, take a walk, journal, meditate, or speak with a therapist if needed. Don't get so caught up and a conflict that you lose your mind. Or you get so wrapped up in it that that's all you talk about. Or that's all you think about. Take time out for self-care. Yeah, we may disagree right now, but I'm going to make sure I take care of me too. Okay? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Okay? Cover all points. Take time for self-care. Now let's talk about when to walk away. You and your siblings can't come to agreement, or you and your aunts and your uncles can't come to agreement, or you and your children can't come to an agreement, or you and your husband can't come to an agreement, or whoever is left to deal with the aftermath of your loved one's passing. Unfortunately, sometimes a resolution cannot be reached. And I want you to know it's okay to walk away. Sometimes you have to walk away from situations that you can't agree on or find a solution to. You walk away and you revisit at another time, or you just walk away totally and don't revisit. Always aim to protect your peace, your mental health, and boundaries over toxic situations. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you over mama's house while you, let's say, how would you say it? While you're intoxicated, or while you're dealing with something else. We're not going to argue. We're not going to fuss. We're not going to fight until you are in your right, sober mind. And we can have a conversation like two adults. So it's okay to walk away. To protect your peace, your mental health, and your boundaries. And sometimes in some families to keep yourself safe. Okay? So remember that. Not every battle is your battle. And not everything is worth fighting for. So let's end this on a hopeful note. Rome was not built in a day. And not all conflicts can be resolved immediately. Some may take time. Some may take months. Some may even take years. But eventually, it gets resolved. Okay? So, approach each situation with love and understanding. Don't approach the situation thinking your way is the only way and that's the way it's going to go and that's the way it's going to be. That's not right. That's not even fair to go into thinking like that. Approach each situation with love and with understanding, with gratitude and with grace. What would my parents have wanted? Would they want us sitting there fighting over this? Is that what they really wanted? Is that what my parents really raised us to be? To fight over money? To fight over property? No. We weren't raised to do that. Approach every situation with love and understanding. Understand why your sister that took care of your parents may want to stay in their home. Understand why your brother may want your father's antique car. Understand why your sister may want the $1 million your daddy left in the account for all y'all. But she wanted it all for herself. Understand that. Like, come to an understanding and a loving understanding. Not just any understanding. Loving understanding. Although things can get a bit touchy, remain calm. Okay? Listen to understand one another And remember, there's more than one way to resolve a problem. There's more than one way to resolve a problem. So, if nobody wants the house, let's sell it and let's split it however many ways with however many of us there is. I tell that to my sons all the time, and when I'm getting it on video. I die. My house is to be sold and split down to the last penny. You cut that penny 4 ways. You put a piece in there with me because I'm going to be cremated. And each of y'all get a piece down to the last cent. I don't want nobody screaming, he got $1,000 more than me. Or she got $5 more than me. Or why he get to get the house and I don't get to get nothing. We ain't doing that. We selling all of it. And we splitting it down to the last penny, like my mama said. So, I want to end with this. Do not allow family drama to define your grief journey. With time, effort, and love, it's possible to rebuild those connections. If things get really rough, if things get really bad, if no solutions are reached, if ways are parted, if hearts are broken and hurtful things are said, give it time. Give it time and give yourself time to rebuild those connections. In times of drama, remember, words cannot be taken back. They cannot. It's a time to think before you talk. Remember the saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is one of the most messed up sayings you could ever recite. Because physical wounds always heal. But words can break a person down. Words hurt. That's why the Bible reminds us there's power and life in the tongue. You can speak life over someone, or you can speak death to someone. In times of drama and times of conflict, let's do our best to speak life. In times of dealing with grief, let's speak life. Let's come to an agreement. No amount of money, no car, no house, or no possessive item, tangible item, is worth losing your family over. Hug someone and love someone today. Hug your family. Love on your family. Come together. Because there's always a solution to every problem. Walk away if you need to walk away. It's okay. In these difficult moments, I want you to remember, you can honor your loved one by striving for peace, love, and understanding within your family. During this difficult time, strive for peace, love, and understanding within your family. Don't allow the things to get in your way of loving on your family during this difficult time. Don't allow words to cut so deep that you walk away from your family. Okay? Family is everything. Sometimes our family ain't always blood. It's true. But sometimes our family is blood. And we got to love them. Sometimes some people just need a little more love than others. And you'll see through loving them that there's a pearl or a diamond underneath that. I pray that you have a great weekend. And I hope that this message helps you in some type of way. If you would like to know where I also minister good things like this, you can join my Facebook group called Grieftograce Support Group. I have prompts that I put up. I have discussions like this. I have mornings where I share my scriptures and so much more. So join my Facebook group by clicking the link below. I look forward to seeing you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's a topic you would like for me to discuss with you, please comment it below. Let me know what y'all want to know. Okay? I love y'all. Have a great weekend. And remember, this too shall pass. Peace.